Yeah, and I mean, that's the kind of like key name that you're looking at the most, I think, from Rush B. The rest of them are very much unknown when it comes to a relevant level of Tier 2 competition. So for them, it's going to be a bit of a step up to try and make it to the Challenger League. They've already beaten out ICLA. That's a pretty significant one. You see the vetoes up there on screen. Mirage and Ancient. We did see Ancient play in that last head-to-head, and Nuke is the last one that remains at the end of the tail end of the veto. So we are looking at some familiar territory, but this one might end up being a bit of unfamiliarity for the likes of TSM, who are on the T side start of things. Let's see whether they can turn things against Rush B as we get into the pistol round.
Let's take a look and see. I really want to see something kind of quite special coming through out of TSM, right? They've got a really opportunity to show themselves.
Taps from the back lines, trying to see if they can line those headshots, but so far so little being found by Rush B. Finally, an opening headshot onto Jax. The Executor USP is forced back out of connected control as well, away from the smoke, back behind some softer cover. The plant can be secured by TSM. Now they need to hit the man advantage.
Velvet. Deleted. Nice shot coming through. Instant arms back with only one of his own. As Moto goes down a 2 versus 4 retake, is looking very good for Rush B.
Enters and CYPHER just trying to hold on to their positions outside of the bomb site. Smokes are on the bomb itself. They'll tap on that defuse. CYPHER gets a tag. The defuse kit's still held. He's such low HP. And the kills start pouring in for Rush B once again. Defending A for the pistol round.
Not bad, not bad. I think that was pretty simply done, all things considered. You saw TSM, they get that bomb down. Things looking okay in the post plant, but what it comes down to is fundamentally a lot of these 50-50s. Not a lot of control. The setup's a little bit too deep for me, so there was this sort of inability to trade coming through. In Rush B, it was actually quite simple for them to just pick off fights one by one. So, all things considered, not a bad start at all. There will be a decent buyout both sides. Bomb plant, of course, for TSM gives them funds for those Galils coming in. And Galils are relatively scary. Of course, it's M4s on the other side. It's only Inters to get a kill yet for TSM, so we've got to keep that in mind as well. Rumby's going to come through. Jack going to get some space, but Nota. Nice opener, traded up by Inters.
I want smoke as well to work with here for TSM, so for the setups, the executions are going to be very, very dry. Need to find these fights, and so far, so not as successful, especially with the man advantage being regained by Rush B. Jax to fall in mid. CYPHER can get a decent trade back. Execute is seen next, but he finds Volde to follow it up, so advantage continues to maintain here for Rush B. CYPHER's insertion point to the back line might allow a split into the A site, because Kinky has no info on this.
All goes suspiciously quiet. Inters is tagged. CYPHER's okay. They're looking in the direction of A, of course. They'll get a lot of the space purely off the back of CYPHER. The only problem is I don't think CYPHER's going to expect someone on the flank coming through CT where he is just cleared so quickly. Kinky. Yeah, he's got perfect timing here. CYPHER's never going to expect this so close. Kinky's around the corner, drops one, and there's no chance to plant a bomb now, unless he plants front triple, which even then is precarious because of the short player.
Turned away for a moment, 30 seconds left. Burst through, not going to get caught. Executor executes him. 2 kills to his name. 2 rounds to the board of Rush B, and this time with no bomb plant bonus for TSM. And those Galils can be scary. They looked very much not so throughout the majority of that round. 3 players overall staying alive. Economy can start to find its foundation point as well for Rush B, especially with very little resistance from TSM. Despite that, CYPHER has gone in with the hero AK. He has faith in his abilities.
Yeah, you know, we've seen CYPHER do this a few times. And we see also do quite a lot with ITB as well, where they would just kind of put a lot of trust in him to open up some space. It's massively easy. Smoke gets broken there in towards mid. There's a lot of space being gained here towards top mid, but they still need to make that precarious cross. Yes, they've got a bit of room to work with, but it's not exactly safe.
They did this last round as well, that run boost to get themselves across and into the mid control in lieu of an actual flashbang, in lieu of any utility at all again for TSM. Just initial prods to try to see if they can find these CT positions, and they have caught off 2 individuals, one of which has been dinked down. KIRO to 74 HP, but Moto to 19. An easy pick can get found by Rush B. TSM just continuing to play this mid default.
Already. This feels pretty dicey, because CYPHER's rifle is going to fall. I was waiting to see whether anybody even decides to hold for him, but no. The Eagle having a look in. Jax might get an opportunity, but again, KIRO going to step up in a really nice way here. This is quite simple Counter-Strike being played. KIRO dancing between angles, tag coming through that smoke as well. It's all going to fall apart in a matter of moments, and not even a single kill, barely even any damage, Jay, coming forward. for Rush B so far, this has been very simple Counter-Strike.
Indeed it has, and TSM just not been able to mount up to it. Now, admittedly, that last round was only one rifle to play with, so maybe the 4 that come out here can try and do something, but the start certainly sits with the CT side, TSM. Now, with the majority of all the utility that they really want, only Jack's limited by a factor of 1, which shouldn't be an issue in the grand scale of things. No AWPs, of course, for either side just yet. Team Solo mid will need to try something a little bit different. Need to try catch Rush B off guard. But the concerning point is where? Perhaps out of this ramp position where you have got one player that is facing some aggression from the T side. Inters hasn't seen any feet just yet. I think he might receive some utility instead from Nota.
One more flash here could be in trouble, but Kinky just expecting it. Just playing raw counter there, and even if Kinky was to fall, I think Inters gets traded regardless. Again, we're talking about what is fundamentally quite simple plays coming through here by Rush B, and TSM just don't seem to have an answer for them at all. Smoke going to come into towards top comp. Bit of room to work with. Executor going to respect it. Just going to fall away back over towards that right area, but KIRO finds a kill through the smoke, and as Valda falls, TSM's percentages start to slip.
A 5-on-3 situation, and again, you talk about the damage in the last round, only as low as 45 HP for Kinky in that exchange. Rush B maintaining positions, maintaining the man advantage. Executors had the balls to re-aggress as well, and TSM really don't have a lot of room to breathe here. Caught up on shore, bomb not even on the back of anybody. They just feel so timid right now here, Neo. Just feel like they haven't got the same confidence that you expect out of a T side on Mirage. And, I mean, in this position, you can understand why. 30 seconds, they're trying to prod for a kill. I think the CTs know exactly what's going on here, though. Nota is bursting onto that short position. Still hasn't seen them carry the bomb. They'll just make their way into ladder to save their weapons, because what choice do they realistically have?
Yeah, I feel like at this point, there's no point, right? 2 remaining alive. Sub 10 seconds. That'll be that. Okay. All right. I don't think you can wallbang that. I've never seen anybody wallbang that. Gave it a go. Interesting. That's all I'm going to say. Interesting. 4-0 to Rush B. An attack pause going to be called there by TSM. I think it's probably a good time for a conversation. Everything they've tried so far, not worked. Not even slightly. They're barely even getting towards bomb plant territory. And we've just seen it once again towards that round. Very simple fights being taken. Coming through, you know, we see TSM time and time again trying to take a lot of space through mid and trying to use that as a catalyst to kind of further room. Nothing's working. Rush B have always got an answer for it. I think when you kind of get into these sort of situations, that's where once again you maybe have to start asking questions about maybe your style of play here. I think probably the best thing, in a weird way, and I know it's kind of ironic to say, the best thing you could do here, if you're TSM, is to rush. Try and catch them off guard.
A couple of Galils to play with in this next buy-up, 3 of them overall. Money's still hurting. The lack of the bomb plants will continue to affect TSM here. Go back to basics. Set piece seems to be the setup into the A site, and I guess you would want to go back to basics when the more complicated stuff isn't working out for you. Need to hit their shots, though. It's going to be a very early execution for Team Solo mid. Smokes down to connect the jungle. And stairs, nades sent back. Kinky's caught CYPHER to 19 points of HP. Will evade the counter nades of the T side line. The bomb trying to cross back and get planted very quickly as well. Jack's now worn down to 14 points of health, but they do come up with a 5-on-5 in the post plant.
Kinky waiting. The CYPHER's on the other side. He's so damn low as well. Flashing and coming towards the corner. CYPHER going to try and use it. He spots one, but he'll be dropped anyway. Executor through the smoke finds him as CYPHER falls. This is now starting to, well, fall apart. The TSM, but he's still got a bit of time to work with.
Nades and mollies onto Firebox. Modo backed up here with the AK. And the flanking from Volde can finally close in the pincers against Nota, but Kinky able to respond. Jax trying to hold on at low HP. Volde and Modo get cleaned up onto the bomb site. They will make their way. Jax caught off. Inters just needs to deny the bomb defuse, but not going to happen. Way too many players on the site. And way too much presence to deal with. 5-0 now for Rush B.
There's no competition. I mean, that's a lot better from TSM. Again, out on towards that site, get a bomb plant, try to work in a post plant. All they had to do was buy a little bit of extra time on that tail end. I thought Cypher maybe had a chance as he's playing around that smoke. He gets caught on the right-hand side of it, a little bit of the spam through, and it's quite simple in terms of the retake. Rushbeat not leaving a lot of time on that clock, though, to execute back on towards the A site and reclaim that territory. Did look a little dicey for a second, thankfully. Was okay. Now, Molotov towards ramp. Kiki gonna play around it. Nobody there to meet him, but Executor might get a freebie. Spam him from short. Kinky and KIRO will combine, but KIRO gets traded.
3-on-3 thanks to Valde's responsive, but again, he's low HP. Cypher did find the opening kill. Intis has found the one that gets the advantage back for TSM. That short control now leaving one player per site. Bomb yet to commit, though. Someone's got to go back and grab it. Fortunately, TSM had plenty of time, but there's a spanner into the works. Texty here with the AK, pressing on towards the apartments, as is Kinky going in towards ramp, trying to find Modo here, and he's not quite ready for that AK. So there's an engagement to be found, the bomb to get picked up and should be committed to the site.
Finally looks like TSM going to break that curse, unless this 1v3 gets pulled off. This would be incredible. And he's not got a bad position to do it as well. 1v3. Slowly moving his way through mid here. You got Inters in towards short, and he's probably the biggest kind of category for success here. Playing out through ladder. If he can find him on the drop down, this will give him a lot of space. And now he's heard him. Should be a freebie. Should be a freebie and will. We'll find him. 1v2, this is doable.
Especially with Valde being on 17 HP, the individual fights could get won by Texas. As an idea of the default position, the smoke will confirm it. The Molotov sent back. The backstab again coming in from Valde, though. Nice pulled out. AK spray comes in. And that is a 2K secured by the man. And finally an opening round being taken by TSM. Starts have been gained. Rush B been denied the half tie-up score of 6. They've got plenty of cash to play with, so they're going to break out the double ops to immediately try and answer back.
Yeah, it's a really important position to now be in. I think for TSM, they had to break that curse. They had to basically just get a little bit of confidence under their belt, and thankfully now they will. But a double orb setup is very scary to now come against. Something which, as we can see with TSM, they can't answer with themselves. They just don't simply have the funds to do so. Double A going to come through. Triple nade, in fact. As Executor we'll get out of dodge in time. Look at the space that now Rush B are reclaiming. All the way through ramp, they're going to realize nobody's here, but the rotation's coming over.
They continue to hold their aggressive angle over on Nota's part. Hiding back behind that pillar. Trying to find the right places at the right times. Inter's waiting for Kinky's aggression and will be able to find him. Nota doesn't find anything on his own engagement. Will fall backline passive. Try swinging to check above that smoke if there's anybody that might be boosted. There is no one there though. Molotovs will just keep the CTs at bay. TSM have a man advantage and they'll play with that.
They're not desperate to go to A here. And I like this call in the mid round. Double away. You know, you look at some of the individuals over towards CSM, a lot of experience in that team. It's a pretty heads-up call. Stick as a pack, play the numbers game. In every situation, they should have an advantage. But that's not much of Theodore. Goes over seconds. This is that one.
I'm going to hold back behind the smoke, but holding with no scopes at close quarters. One player seen, but the no scope doesn't connect. Valde and CYPHER clean house, swarm the bomb site, and overwhelm Rush B. And secure their second on the trot. Nota and KIRO have no business in a retake. They're going to hold on to their guns.
This is probably the best way to play it, especially with that AWP. They've got money to a degree. At least KIRO can drop over pretty comfortably. Nota can do the same, and then for Executor and Texas, they can kind of buy back in. So it isn't the worst situation to be in the kind of the grand scheme. They've still got what is a comfortable gap in terms of the round differential. They're still in a position where we can feel relatively comfortable about them. Things don't slip too quickly. Any extra frags here would be pretty notable, but Nota sticking around, it feels quite risky. Molly, wings in seconds. We'll find it, and just about survives as well. The bomb goes off, and he's still not far enough away. So, made very expensive on the tail end there. Nota going in for 2 kills, I think does put a little bit more of that financial pressure on towards TSM. But overall, Rush B still got a 3-round lead. We've still got a position where I think everything feels relatively comfortable for them. And They don't need to worry just yet. If this round slips, however, that'll put us into a different conversation. There's a little bit of money left in reserves for TSM. That isn't the same situation, really, for Rush B. It's only going to Execute sitting on 2K. Everybody else under makes us feel a little bit uncomfortable. So, Rush B look like they're about to be met with a Rush B.
Flashes, sent, HGs whittle down the HP early on, and that 10 of Jack so far, so very little scathed. Executor wary of the quick play around the corner towards him and doesn't quite deal with it. Modo's AWP struck first, and technically can get one back. It's still a 2-for-1 overall that favours TSM. The AWP of KIRO can bring it back to an even man stance. The bomb's so far coming in the corner, but they're not quite aware of it. So a trade from Volde, a swing from Nota, grabs the AWP player, and it's a 2 versus 2 now. TSM separated from their positions, the AWP continuing to land shots on CYPHER and finding Volde next, only on CYPHER. 23 points of health for the clutch, and he hasn't got the bomb.
This is the big problem. No bomb, no post plant, and no health either. Surely done, and will be. What a retake coming through. Nota and KIRO playing that perfectly in kind of what felt like essentially a 2 versus 4. Getting 2 kills apiece is so damn important. That was really, really well played. And I think once again, we have to ask questions about what TSM, you know, we've seen this is a side who have done really well at claiming a lot of space and really well at kind of utilizing some of the changes in tempo, but not getting that bomb down cost them so much. If they put the pressure on towards Rush B on that retake with the bomb planted, then they would have been comfy, but never given that luxury.
And TSM can only tie up the T side. Nade damage again being done so effectively on the Rush B camp. Modo 47 HP. Valde tagged to just under 60, I should say. And Nota takes CYPHER for 0. First man down in the round. Nota being seen aggressing so far forward on this CT side. It's such an aggressive CT side in general from Rush B. And now he's going to have the full stack control. If they try and re-aggress, they've got to clear this position out.
I think it's starting to be an idea by TSM. They've tried over towards B and it's worked, right? They've got at least that space on the side. They just kind of failed in the post bomb. I think that's where, at least in the early round, a lot of their attention's being focused on. The only issue is leaving vulnerabilities elsewhere. And one of those big ones is through mid. You can already see the space that Nota's got here. And of course, the 2 kills he's got too. That alone is what feels like the big win factor for Rush B. All he has to do is take out his position. Ooh. But Jax finds him with a fadeaway.
Very nicely done. Very nicely placed. Now TSM got to place themselves in for the round itself. They've only got 1 pick back. It's still a man advantage for Rush B. They're going to go for the execution. It seems to be the split into A. Bomb outside of ramp. 1 player from mid. They have a smoke and a flash to get them in and suppress 1 angle of the CT defensive, but with the way that they're approaching these positions, it seems just to be another rifle save call. Rush B will win the half as a result of that, and TSM just being allowed very little look-ins in terms of this matchup. CT forces will now have the half, and the TSM, it just continues to get worse and worse as these rounds go on. At least they can recover the upgrade rifles, the AK on Volde, and these 3 weapons will be important to them from here because Modo and CYPHER don't have money to buy it. Inters, Jax, and Volde obviously don't have money to drop. The second tactical gets called in by TSM, who are really running out of ideas.
Yeah, I think as well for TSM, they realize that in this map, if they can't even set up any sort of foundations on the T side, there's no conversation anymore. That's why they're using 2 out of 3 this early on. You sometimes question when teams are very proactive with attack pauses, especially now in ML12, right? ESL, of course, are one of the few competitions right now that have actually reduced tactical timeouts from the traditional 4 back in the kind of the MR15 world now into old 3 in just MR12. And of course, because of that, you have to limit when you can take these pauses, bring the coach in towards the conversation and the rest. And well, for TSM, calling them this early, it feels a little bit laissez-faire with them, but I think overall it's definitely the right call. They know they have no control in this game. They've got to do everything they can to try and get it.
I mean, even with the nature of MR12 and the round differences, right? Like 5 rounds in MR15 used to be like, okay, it's manageable of a comeback. Yeah. In terms of this, like it's enough to win the half, as I've just stated before. And if it grows any further, then, I mean, one of the worst score lines is at the turn of the half is like around like 4 to 6 or so. So yes, for TSM, Like, it's not a very good position to be in terms of the new context of the rule sets of CS2. These Galils continuing to be a hindrance to them. Of course, they have scraped them together. AK on Volday, the Orb still on Modo. Only 2 kills for him so far in this matchup. KIRO riding up high at 10 on the Rush B side. Neither player will meet each other in mid as of yet. Rush B playing behind these smokes.
Already. Nice and quiet for the time being. This has been classic TSM. A lot of mid control, but then they feel like they get lost a little bit. They're looking for a fight here. Note might want to double away, and he just about gets around the corner in time.
Yeah, Jack's not knowing that he missed his window. Modo has hit, or at least attempted to hit a shot. Actually, a shot comes up against him. That nade lobbed up, lands quite high above the heads of the players. So again, just tickling away the HP bars as they go for the quick plays in. Nota swung out towards Connector at the right timing, but Modo and CYPHER have recovered a couple of kills. Now the XM, the auto shotgun from Texty, swings up, catches CYPHER, looks back in, sees and knows exactly where Inters is. Modo's AWP, all that remains, a 1-on-3 shot to connect against the first player, but the AWP KIRO is locking him out from the bomb site. He's got to cross into this crack angle. The shot doesn't quite connect, so the plant can be secured, but very quickly, nades and CT responsives will come out. Kinky will overwhelm, find the retake, and make it 8 for the CT side.
It's been a very, very easy half for Counter-Strike, all things considered. Rush B, just everything that TSM are throwing at them. They've got an answer for it. All this knowledge that it seems to be working wonders for Rush B right now. It has been, again, we have to say, just fundamentally so simple. Very little kind of conversations to be had about what TSM have got in terms of a response. Thankfully, I guess with Lost Bonus and Bomb Plant, that can always relate to a kind of a full buy coming through. We aren't really seeing too much of the AWP power, but just because their money's always been so unstable. But an 8-2 scoreline is already not good at all. TSM, this is getting rough. And honestly, the way things are panning out, I think it might get a bit worse, Jay.
Yeah. Rush B already tagging down Modo as they try to go back into the set piece, this time with a couple of smokes on Connector and Jungle. Nota does get the kill on Jax, trying to regress further forward. CYPHER's swing does get Kinky at least. It's a 4-on-4 with the bomb plant coming down. Executor can't do anything from his position to deny it. Now try those blind spray store in the connector position, trying to deny where that bomb position was. CYPHER can catch. No, he can't. Oh, I thought he had him pinned in a corner, able for the easy spray, but he didn't connect the kill shot at 4 HP. The man's alive. And TSM are down once again. A flank from Modo is inbound from mid. KIRO might be able to cut it off as he checks out all the common positions. AWP is also leaning in for the retake. I think Modo's revealed himself. Time running out on TSM here. Rush B onto the bomb site, onto the defuse. It's Nota low HP. And the 3 kills come in for them. But they're not getting the kill shot. He's on 4 points of health. And Rush B keep it together again for a 9th.
So close, yet so far as well. That is heartbreaking for TSM. I'm still questioning why Rush B took so long to even get onto the site to give it a go. In a 4 versus 2 there, they took so much time to get out on towards the A side to even give it a crack at a retake. But when it comes down to it, that smoke ninja defuse, nice and simple. TSM 1 bullet is all that needs to connect. And they couldn't do it. They just couldn't. 9-2. We could see Rush B heading towards the second half at double digits already. That's pretty damning, all things considered. Modo in the flames, in trouble. And Texy's got his old trusty out once again, the auto shotgun.
Worked for him last time. See if it'll do it right here. And again, right position to play it, just below the apartments. They do decide to commit, and they can, of course, make their way in. They will cancel, though. TSM were up there initially. They've gone back in from underpass and broken away towards top mid as well. The HE from Executor. Oh, just so perfectly placed onto Modo. 8 HP for him.
Now, Modo solo. Still feels like not enough space created here. This doesn't feel great. Kinky's tucked in towards the cubby once again. He's going to hit all of this information. What a swing. What a find for 2. And still untraded. Not even a damage here. Jack in the swing. Will find him in the end. There's a pretty Nota comes in. Reclaims the space. Makes it 2. And that'll be that at the turn of the half. 10-2. Rush B are in complete control. Can they continue it after the break?
There needs to be a serious dig deep personality behind TSM if they want to bring back this 8-round deficit. Rush B have not even been tested so far in this matchup. And the CT side now rests with the underdogs in this circumstance. They will need to bring home a comeback, Nao. Pistol round does find Kinky first. That's at least a positive start for Modo. Valde also in mid has seen another player. Jax has been caught off, tagged up elsewhere, so responsives are in, and Rush B are walking the open A bomb site.
Bit of space. Not a nice enough shot though, because CYPHER's coming for 2. That is a really nice kind of response to the space that was being created, and now for Rush B. Unfortunately, in a lot of trouble. X-Huge gets deleted, just looking completely the wrong way. And Nota left all alone. This pistol was completely thrown apart.
There's CYPHER with the triple. Perfect 3K. Perfect headshots on the majority. And there you go. Something. A little bit of brilliance from the young man of TSM, who some have said has been underperforming ever since he joined this team. And I mean, in terms of the overall squad itself, I mean, he is only 3rd highest rated ever since CS2's start. But in that round, impact like that and him leading the scoreboard right now for his team is going to make a difference if TSM want to bring this one back home. They've got the rifles, the Glocks are in for Rush B. No bomb plant, no force buy. See if they can make this a formality.
What's the call here? You've got just Glocks, not expecting basically anything at all, but a bomb plant would be lovely. Would at least give you those kind of extra funds in the back pocket going in towards your full buy. Might even push those in towards a little bit of extra utility around the belt. Rush B, nice and quiet, nice and slow. Looks like we want to head towards mid. Don't know what they do with it though, but in towards mid they go. They get the space, throw it for 2. And yeah, pretty simple. As expected, pistols at range against their foyer. Only going to go one way, and Modo will mow them down. 3 to his name. CYPHER gets 2. Very simple.
Indeed it was. Nicely done for TSM, but again, it was only the Glocks, without armor, without utility, without any real resistance that you would hope to speak of for a T-side line. The AKs are out here and now in round 15. And there's still 6 rounds to try and make up for Team Solo mid. Only 3 for Rush B to take control of this matchup and take over the first map of the best of 3. So a lot more work needs to be done there on the CT side. I mean, they'll take the easy affairs and the formalities when you can. The task starts here with Executor. First man alongside Kinky trying to prod in initially towards that ramp face. Jax facing him with the SMG at range, has not seen anything. Modo will start prodding. Executor spotting the individual. Kinky does get overwhelmed. A little bit too greedy there at ramp. Modo might also overextend, but it works for him.
2v5. TSM making this look pretty simple. In the early part of the CT side, you know, Mirage statistically one of the more CT side of the maps. At the tail end of Go, it was 3rd most coming in towards CS2. It feels like it's elevated ever so slightly on that C side, but still remains heavily favored. For TSM, that's what they need to hear. They need any sort of confidence heading in towards the second half, and right now looking so. Modo again, a double entry to open up the round. For Rush B left on 3, they don't really know what to do. Texie's trying to open up a bit of space over towards B. Looks like he'll probably be able to do so as well. And he has KIRO in support, not too far behind.
Inter's heard the footstep. Must be aware that he's out here at the van. Holds his nerve, goes for the swing, and does find the man in the end. So, 2 left standing on the Rush B side. TSM wear down these 20-second markers. Notice has been heard as well. Jax doesn't quite land the kill for it, though. The AK able to adjust. They should hold on to 2 of them for the tail end of round 15. TSM. There you go. Foundations of the comeback of the CT side. A 5th now on their board. Rush B. Very early doors. Their economy not built in. There's not really a lot of buying room, I think, around these AKs. I mean, they could go in for the investment and find a couple of Galils. It might be safer to go for the half buy, and Kinky agrees.
I think it's probably the right way to play around this. I feel like having a little bit extra money left in his pockets, go back into the rifles next round, that matters more. If you can get a couple of kills with the pistols, that'd be great. In this sort of round as well, bomb plant goes an incredibly long way. The only thing that kind of really worries you is maybe kind of Noto and KIRO, because they're in that double eco territory due to saving. Yeah, unlucky in the flash. Because they're in that double eco territory, if those rifles fall, then it will change things up a bit. They don't have a lot of money, and Noto's not going to start things off well.
First kill down for Jax. One of the two AKs removed. Nexty now with his Deagle set in. CYPHER going to clear out the mid window smoke and find Executor as well. So now one of the pistols end up dropping. Two players form up to try to go for the quick B hit. Perhaps they could secure a bomb plant if KIRO can distract them, but they are sacrificing the AK to get that distraction in. He's walking. Orpamoto finds him. And now Texty and Kinky have just got to try and commit here and hope that Inter doesn't mow through them. AK in his hands. First player spotted. Spray does get quite a lot of damage. The player also being hurt to the left. Should adjust. And 2 HP on the last man. Volde can clean him up. It's a team ace for TSM. And Rush B now have only a 4-round lead.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. I think this is an okay position now for TSM to be in. I mean, I still feel like it's maybe ever so slightly a little early to talk about kind of comebacks and talk about this game being on, but these are the right moments where that kind of door to that conversation starts to open. This is a lot better. TSM look a lot more proactive in terms of these early fights, and this is the problem that we saw when TSM were on their T side. They were very tentative in a lot of these fights they were taking. They looked a little nervy, a little unsure in terms of what they were doing and why they were doing it. Not the case on the CT side. They've got an idea. These defaults that have been played out very early round by TSM are doing a lot of legwork for them. And it always helps having individuals like Modo and CYPHER getting minimum a kill every round. So far, on towards the CT side, that is helping them out a hell of a lot. So far, so good for TSM. But that comeback is far from completed. It's in a 4-round deficit. Still, quite a ways to go. Rush B back into a buy. Nota and KIRO, of course, who opts to save the AKs, only have Gilil's.
Of course, the 4 guns out for TSM, 2 of which are also AKs. Nice nade on Kinky as well towards mid. Tagged to 41 very early, but he did take CYPHER back to 35. Well placed on the crosshair. Advantage. Still rests with TSM on the HP. It's 1 player tag versus 2 of them. Texty took a bit of an engagement out towards ramp, and that wallbang spray finds Modo there for Executor. Jax now sitting in his sandwich. I think Nota's trying to check it. He's trying to find an angle to play with. Now he's been seen, and Jax is going to drop 5 on 3, with CYPHER still being in play at 35. Him, Inters, and Valde stand against the T side. 1 player is already broken away from the A defensive. I think they might be throwing in the towel on this one.
You're right. I think you are. I don't think Saban's a bad call here at all. You already see CYPHER's doubling away. Valde's going to stick around to try the heroics, and that's not bad for 1. Takes a tag, still alive. Bomb will go down. Double dips, looks for seconds, and this time, eyes bigger than her stomach. A little greedy, as he will fall. So safe call going to be made. Rush B claw back another round in their favor. Of course, they get ever closer now to that finish line. This is why we didn't want to get too early in the talks of a comeback or the terms of a redemption from TSM, because at a 10-2 half, you have to pull off a miracle response coming in towards second half. And unfortunately for TSM, that could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Where we find ourselves right now with Rush B so close to the finish line. TSM, not a lot of room for error. At the very least, though, they have money.
Yeah, and with these 2 weapons being held in as well, they can afford to buy the AWPs without much concern. They keep the AK in for Inters especially. Cash will flow in for the CT forces. Modo should buy the AWP. And also sustain an investment for the next round as well. I think they're expecting that maybe Rush B might start to close in the pincers, at least on map point. And have that little bit extra in the back pockets to have that little leg up. Makes a lot of sense, I think, in the long term of things. Of course, ideally, they would just win this round and continue to bring back the deficit. Then into 5, of course, on Rush B's lead. And TSM again trying to prod aggressive, again trying to find early engagement. I think they heard Nota there. The M4 just watches and waits. Doesn't see anything yet. Just hearing things right now.
I think really to with at the moment. A couple of taps from Executor doesn't find the kill. Actually, meant for a grenade as well. He'll tag up himself, and Texi through the smoke is going to find one. Good work. Kinky can off back on his own into the flames. Stick around a little bit too long, and it gets too hot as Kinky makes it look so easy. What is happening?
Modo, one pick back, at least makes it a single man advantage. With Kinky being as low as where he is, it's not impossible that they could find this retake. They just have to deal with one of these players, and the whole thing may fall apart for Rush B. No aggressive forcing against the AWPer. It's him and Jax's M4. The kit, of course, on the player in apps. The AWP swings around, footsteps being made. Modo trying to draw attention away from the app backstab. They haven't seen KIRO now. They have. Jax with the kill. 2 versus 2 now. Swing back on Kinky. Where is he? Smoke out towards the bench position of Jail. An engagement in the AK. Modo misses his shot. Kinky allowed another good kill. And now Jax has no time and no more presence. And he is out of there for the 12th for map points on Rush B.
Kinky falls to the bottom, but it's Kinky with 4 kills to his name who does everything in that round. And for Rush B, map point coming through as well. And to make matters worse, it is their opponent's map pick. That's the thing that is so kind of damning about this situation. A 12-6 scoreline. TSM's pick is never going to sit easy at all. This has been a really, really good run in. Rush B have always had every single answer. They've always had every bit of knowledge what TSM are trying to do. CYPHER, AWP out for him. Not often we see CYPHER AWPing. With double upsets for TSM as well. They're still rare, but at this point, oh Jay, they've got nothing to lose, mate.
Just throw everything at the wall at this point. I think the term damning that you mentioned is definitely apt for this situation. TSM 6 to bring back into overtime and then to win it in overtime to take their map pick away. The Shadow Dixie and CYPHER knows. Lovely stuff. KIRO first to fall. Is that TSM's survival locked in? Is this going to fall apart again for Rush B, or will there be a couple of turnaround trades we've seen so far? The vertical flick from Cypher's AWP is unable to connect onto Kinky, so he's tagged up. Jax, however, does find Nota elsewhere.
Looking good. TSM not dead just yet. Definitely not dead. Inter's picking the time perfectly. CYPHER picking off Texi again perfectly. And leaves Executor all alone. Safe to say, no chance in this round.
No way he wins a 1v5.
That'll be a story, though.
I mean, if it was one of the top fraggers, then and he was able to isolate an individual fight like back here, then perhaps. But for TSM, in case of dealing with him when appropriate, Jax does lose his life. But the tag damage that he's done leaves Executed with not much else left in it. Bomb fully in CT hands. 8 seconds left on the clock. Saving in the corner. Might see the hunt come through, and actually that could destroy the economy state of Rush B, which at this point you're taking every advantage you can if you're TSM. Like you mentioned, nothing much more to lose, but they don't extend so far as to give the AK another chance. 1 out of 6 taken, 2 out of 3 tacticals scored in by Rush B. That one AK has a couple of players that can buy around it to their credit.
Yeah, I don't think this is still kind of the worst situation at all. They could still use a bit of a buy here. I mean, they could even opt in towards a force buy if they really want to go into the likes of kind of those Galils and the Mac 10s if they wanted a little bit of util. It wouldn't be a pretty one. I like what they're going for here. Go in towards a slightly more half buy. Try and rely on what Executor can do with that kind of saved AK coming across and see if basically the pistols can overwhelm. This is a perfect opportunity with this sort of buy. This is, for well, lack of a better term, a Rush B buy. If you've ever seen it, right? This is where you would send it onto that B site, try and prioritize a bomb plant, and go from there. In the post-plant scenario, that's when you maybe have the best chance. And they actually are looking in that direction. It's not going to come through over towards mid. I'm going to send Texi having a little prod in towards the apartment. AK spotting one, swinging, but in the flames, down he falls.
CYPHER becomes the Executor. Removes that rifle from play for now. We'll get right back in the hands of Nota, one of 2 players that bought the helmet in Kevlar. Only player, of course, that's at 100 HP with the helmet in Kevlar. TSM. lock in that pick and just want to hold back on their positions, not getting too greedy. Not opting to force forward too far, especially as Volde just goes for the half shoulder bait, just trying to get the information out onto where the T's are holding from rather than going in for the pick. A minute to play with here for Rush B, and I haven't really found a whole lot in terms of the kill counts. CYPHER is very far away from refacing.
Yeah, this is a kind of a classic pass to parcel with that 1AK. Kinky, third time's the charm on that jump. I'll spot nobody's there, so gonna look in towards window in a second. Goes to makes noise. Should be a little bit of a known quantity. Time's ticking though, lads. Gotta make a decision now.
Yeah,
Just
can't have
over
all these
30
players.
seconds. My God, that is so risky.
They do press on regardless. Jax holding the bomb site. Kinky tagged very low. Jax, similar story to 2 points of HP. Enters, swings out, giving Nota a chance to break this open. 4-on-4. CYPHER now isolated in the back of the site. Does get one more frag, but Texty can overwhelm, and I cannot believe they have just made it into the B play. Plant is being secure, but Modo has caught KIRO. Down and out now, a 3-on-2. Texty backed up a bench, hearing footsteps around that corner. The AWPer checking in with the pistol. The M4 found by Texty's headshot. Looked in with the next player, bursting through. Jax low HP, dead to right. Modo with the AWP pick, switching to the M4. 1-on-1 against Nota, the AK. Hearing footsteps, knows exactly where Modo is. Fake flash. M4 on the bomb, tapping it. Nota not going to peek. He's called his bluff. He has called his bluff, and it might be right to perfection. M4 on the angle. Nota gets caught off. Is there enough time with this defuse kit in play? I don't think there is. Rush B have not secured Mirage. We play on.
My God, that is so close. Half a second less. The TSM close it out. Modo collects his trusty AWP as well. Really nice retake coming through, and TSM are going to call for a pause as well. This is a kind of a two-parter pause. It gives TSM a conversation to be had of, okay, that was a little bit close for comfort. You've got to make sure we make these lines a little bit more secure. They can't keep going down to the wire like that. But also, because it went down to the wire and because TSM were able to close it out, just make your opponents sit on it. Make it kind of ruin their mental state a little bit. I like this. At TSM, this is a really, really good time to call a pause. And when you look towards Rush B, that one's going to hurt a little bit. Felt like they were in a good position. Felt like they had all kind of the culminations to close out the map once they got that fight on towards the site, once they got that bomb down as well, but not to be. Still a little bit of life left in TSM yet. 21st round underway. TSM, that gap is closed to 4. It's manageable, but there's no room for error. It has to be 4 from here on out, and that's just for OT.
Shots missing from Modo as they play quick as well into mid. Bomb's not with them. Volde has caught KIRO back ahead of that smoke, so that's a 4 versus 4, but CYPHER is now being pressured from 2 different fronts. First, the apartments here. I think he's aware of Texty. The smoke will come down against him, and the second being that short presence. Inters has started to move into that position and will hold the angle, but the blind spray from Texty finds where CYPHER is. The footstep giving away enough information for the through smoke kill, and an advantage sits with Rush B.
Well, 4 versus 3 as it goes quiet. This leaves us questioning now what the call is. Once again, looking in that direction of B. There is 2 players here, and they're playing together through short. Kinky out through ladder. I think he spots the shadow. He does. Yeah. Always going to be a bit better of a known fight coming through. Flash goes so deep. Turn there, holds on the spray, and Kinky will fall.
And Texty has caught Inters in the back of the site, though, so advantage stays with Rush B, and the bomb site has fallen for TSM. Jax held away by that Molotov, using the smoke to get now to cross into the market doorway. Nota watching for him. Shoulder bait is just about spotted the information. Nota gets back out to the bench control. Very tight angle to hold from here, but it might just work out for him if they extend out towards the back of the site itself. They're still walking, though. They're still prodding in from the back corner. 3 players well aware of what's going on here. They see that first individual burst through on Volde, damage to 45 HP. Jax on site. Volde still looking around for that van position. Texty sees exactly where his backup is. Burst fire gets his kill. Jax dealt with Volde alive for the ace in this round, but time ticking against him, and there it is. Rush B can lock in Mirage. And a disappointing way to go out of your own map pick for TSM, as you mentioned, the 10-2 scoreline. Too much to come back from in the end.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to it, like you mentioned, that is such a big margin to try and close up. And I think Rush B had all